Hello, it's Alpha here, and today we're gonna be talking about Supreme Arena. Now, quickly, before we get started with the Supreme Arena stuff, I wanna mention that on my previous video, I talked about normal arena and defense and attack formations that I've been using on normal arena. So if you want to know more about that, you can maybe go check out my last video, or you can go check out a Google document that I made, and the document has all of the attack and defense formations. And I also added a couple new attack and defense formations after the video was released. So yeah, you can find the link to that Google document on the video description, or I guess on the pinned comment of this video. But yeah, let's get back to the Supreme Arena. So this is not gonna be like a super long video because there are so many like variables when it comes to Supreme Arena, like everyone has different heroes, etc. But I'm just gonna be talking about in general what kind of gives you power in Supreme Arena, and then what kind of defense and attack formations I've been using during the last couple of weeks. So I'll give you some team examples. But first, let's talk about what gives you power in Supreme Arena. So first of all, obviously having a wide hero selection is good because sometimes you can counter specific heroes with specific heroes, but it's not as important in my opinion to have like super wide team. It's more important to have like high exclusive equipment levels and like Paragon levels, etc. But of course it helps. Then resonance level obviously matters to some extent, but after level 800, resonance level 800, it doesn't matter as much. So during early season, for players who are like free to play or low spenders, it can be quite difficult to do well in Supreme Arena because you're behind on the resonance level. But after level 800, that's like the soft cap for the levels for Supreme Arena. So after level 800, you only get one level of power in Supreme Arena for every 20 levels of resonance. So you can see here that my resonance level is currently around 900, but on Supreme Arena, my heroes are only level 805. So obviously the difference between players will get a lot smaller after the level 800. So normal equipment, it doesn't matter at all after level 800 because everyone will have like maximum level equipment after level 800. So that's not something you have to think about. Hero ascension levels, of course, matters. So you should have all of the heroes that you are using, at least Supreme Plus. Well, I mean, there are some exceptions, like of course Rainier, for example, doesn't need to be Supreme Plus, but ideally, obviously, you have all of your heroes at Supreme Plus, and then, of course, if someone has Paragon levels, that will help them somewhat. But when it comes to Supreme Arena, I've been able to beat like teams with two Paragon levels higher. Like, for example, if I have Paragon 1 heroes and the enemy team has like Paragon 3 heroes, then it's definitely possible to beat those teams. Of course, it's a bit harder, but it's possible. And then exclusive equipment levels matter because every level will give you like a couple % of stats. So here is an example of my OD. So if I were to upgrade my exclusive equipment from level 10 to level 11, I would get like 2% of health and 2% of attack. So this matters. So the team that you're going to be using ideally would have like at least the weapons upgraded to level 5 or level 10 minimum. And then, of course, if you have them plus 15 or plus 20, then that's great. But yeah, this will give some advantage to you. And then the last things that are kind of like this season related. So there is the faction talent system and then the magic charms. And these two have like really big effect on how well you perform. So let's talk about them a little bit more in detail. Here is an example from my OD. I used to have, a couple days ago, I had this magic charm level 4+. And this is the stats that one of the charms gives you. Now you can have three charms per hero. And these are the new charms that I got for my OD. So magic charms level 5+, and you can see that the difference in health is like 5%, and the difference in attack is like 5% per one charm. So obviously you can have 3 of the charms. So this was the basic stats of my OD before I had the charms upgraded, and this was the basic stats of my OD after the charms upgraded. And you can see that there is like 10%, almost 10% difference in like HP, attack, physical defense, and magical defense. So, and that is only with upgrading charms from like 4+ to 5+, and then with the new charms, the latest charm set, there is also this thing that I'm not actually 100% sure how it works, but what I'm assuming is that if you have all of the 3 charms that you're going to be using, if they are all the same charms, then you will also unlock this benefit based on the color of the charms. So you can see that if I had all of my charms this Titanic red color charm, it would also give my hero plus 21% attack and 40% crit damage. So that's a huge buff to the damage. So having charms upgraded on the heroes that you're gonna be using is like really important for Supreme Arena. So then we can talk about the faction talent system. So of course all of the talents give these kind of different buff effects, so we're not gonna be talking about them right now, but we're talking about just the raw stats that these give. So this example is from if you have level 35 Mauler talents, you will get like plus 20% health, your team will get plus 20% health, plus 70% attack, and then some energy on hit and physical and magical defense. And then this example is if you have plus level 21 Lightbearer talents, so you will get a lot less HP, some like 5% less attack, and then the haste and energy on hit are different stats, and then the physical and magical defense are the same. But this just shows that if you focus on like upgrading, for example, one of your talents to level 35 and you're fighting someone who has level 25 talents or 21 talents, you will get quite a big boost on the HP of your team. Like for example, the difference can be like over 10%. So because of that, I would recommend that if you wanna like optimize your Supreme Arena performance, you only focus on one of the talents, or at maximum 2 of the talents. So don't spread your points between like all of the different talents. And in my opinion right now, like maybe the best one is the Celestial Hypergen talent, but the thing with that one is of course that you need a lot of Celestial Hypergens to use that one, so that's probably not something that most players are going to be focusing on. So I think the next best one, or maybe even on same level, is the Mauler one. So that's why I personally have been focusing on the Mauler talent tree, and I'm gonna show you soon like what my talent distribution is. And then I think maybe the next best one is the Wilder one, but yeah, the Wilder one can be good because it gives you like crowd control, protection, and attack speed and stuff like that. So with some heroes this is very powerful effect, but in general like Wilder teams are not very good in Supreme Arena right now. So yeah, I think the Mauler one is the one that you should go for. Here are what the actual what the Celestial Hypergen does and what the Mauler talent gives on top of the base stats. Of course they give the base stats, but then they also give some great buffs. So for Maulers, you will get some life drain, you will get unaffected for like 12 seconds if you have like enough points. So that's a huge one. Like crowd control effects are not gonna affect your heroes. And then this is like an insane power that if the prime carrier is hit with fatal blow, so if they would die, instead they will get like immune for all damage for 5 seconds. So that's like insanely powerful effect if you're using some like DPS characters like Shakir or Odie or Lenya or whatever. Yeah, and then also your prime career heroes will do like damage around them, like every 5 seconds they will do 200% of attack damage around them. So if you have like melee heroes that are close to a lot of enemies, like grouped up enemies, this damage will like really hurt the enemies a lot. And yeah, just in general with like melee heroes that want to be close to the enemies, this is like really powerful as well. So all of these effects are amazing with the Mauler talents. And then this is the Celestial Hypergene one, and this one is also really insane. You are gonna be like stunning enemies for 2.25 seconds, and then you're gonna be like pulling them together, like grouping them up with if you have enough points, and then you gain energy and you gain healing and you gain everything. And this damage is the amount of damage that this does is like really a lot. As you can see, it's like 150% of the prime carrier's damage as a true damage, so it doesn't even matter if they have like high defensive stats. So sometimes this damage alone is like enough to kill the enemy backline. You don't even like need to have like a lot of damaging heroes. You can build like a really tanky Celestial Hypergene team, and then this damage is just gonna kill the enemies. So yeah, these two are really insane. And that's what I've been using them mostly. So this is what I kind of use as a base for my 3 teams. Most of the time I will use like all of these heroes in one of my teams, and then I fill my teams with these heroes usually. And sometimes for attacking you might want to use some like Sylvina or Ulmus. If they don't have like crowd control protection for some reason, you can use Ulmus. But yeah, these are usually the ones that I use. And then these are the heroes that I don't really have on my accounts. So I haven't done much testing with them, but I would really want to test with Lenya and Satrana. For example, I think they are great. They have potential to be like really good for the Mauler teams because you can just teleport them next to the enemies, and then yeah. So if you have them, give them a try for sure. Okay, so these are my accounts that I've been playing on. This is my main account, my free-to-play account. My highest rank in Supreme Arena this season has been rank 6, but obviously I can't hold rank 6 with my account. So usually I'm like around in top 50, somewhere around like rank 20 or 30. And these are my heroes that I have. So of course I'm gonna be using only these heroes for my team. And you can see that I have focused on putting as many points as possible on my Mauler teams. And right now I'm actually only using Mauler teams, all the Mauler benefit. When I say Mauler, it doesn't mean that all of the heroes have to be Mauler, obviously. You can, what you need is 3 of the heroes to be Mauler, then you can activate the talent system, and then rest of the heroes can be whatever. So this is my team number 1. Yeah, the idea is just to group everyone together with your Aaron's ultimate, and then hopefully after that you teleport in Alsa, and then Alsa can kill them, and you have some other damage sources from Brian and Shakir. And Brian's job is just to block the if the enemy is bringing Lily May, so that your Aaron can ultimate, and also so that your Alsa won't get interrupted by potential Lily May. Now, if you're wondering why I have Brian and Aaron placed this way around, because usually you would have to, when you're defending, your Brian should be the backmost hero so that they get interrupted, but for some reason, actually I'm not sure if this works. I would have to check the replays, but when I had the heroes like the other way around, I had Brian here on this teleport tile, and I had Aaron here. My Aaron got interrupted instead, which is usually not what should happen. So I'm not sure why that actually happened. I think maybe it's because if you have one hero here on teleport tile, the teleport probably happens before the interruption happens. So then maybe my Aaron will get teleported here, and then that's when the Brian is the backmost hero, and then Brian might get interrupted, but I would have to test it. But anyway, you get the idea that the Brian is here to block the ultimate. So if you see if you use something similar and you see from your replays that the Aaron is getting interrupted, then just like switch them around. But yeah, this is what I'm using right now. This is the second team, and then this is the last team. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't know if this is the best setup that you could have. I'm just testing out using 3 Mauler teams because I have so like focused on the Mauler faction talent. But yeah, I'm using these heroes because I don't have enough Maulers to build like kind of good 3 teams. So I'm just testing this out this week. This is not what I used last week, but maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but we'll see. Also, one thing to note is that when I was making this video, the frontline spell was not unlocked yet. But now it is unlocked, so you should definitely test using it with like your Mauler teams, because it seems like really powerful spell for your Mauler teams or teams in general that have like melee heroes. So definitely try out the frontline spell instead of like something like this one. For example, with this team, I would imagine that the frontline is a lot better. But yeah, these teams are definitely not optimal. Like if I had other heroes, I would use them instead of Kruger, or I would use something like Lenia, or I would use Satrana, or Soren, or whatever. But yeah, this is what I'm testing right now with my free-to-play account, and then this is my friend's account that I've been using for the past couple of weeks or so. So I was able to get rank 1 with this account. But I can't really hold the rank 1, but I'm usually in top 10 because like there are some like people with Paragon 4 heroes or whatnot. But anyway, this is the hero selection, so a lot more heroes to choose from, but like nothing crazy because we don't have like Paragon 2 heroes or anything like that, but just a lot more hero selection so I can test stuff. And once again, we are heavily focused on the Mauler faction, but we also have like the Celestial Hypogean unlocked. So these are the teams that I used last week. So I had this kind of Mauler team, and I wanted to test using Dunlinger. Now, unfortunately, this Dunlinger is not Supreme Plus, so it doesn't get like the full benefit, but the idea was that we allow our Odie to be able to ultimate, and then the enemy can't use their ultimate, so hopefully Odie can just start killing the enemies and like kill a couple of the enemies before anyone else can ultimate. Now the issue with this team is of course that if the enemy is bringing Lily May, Lily May can still interrupt Odie even with the Dunlinger being there, but I think this team worked pretty well, especially because we had the hidden tiles, so they didn't really know that we are using Dunlinger if they didn't attack like multiple times. But yeah, this is the team that I was using. This was the second team that I was using. This one was also performing pretty well, so this is very similar to the one that I'm using on my free-to-play account. So we have Aaron and Brian, and then we have Alsa, and then some tanky heroes. And then this was the Celestial Hypogean team. We had Tassi in here with Lily May and Rainier, whatnot. So yeah, these streams were pretty good. Right now, this week, I'm testing something like this. So this is basically the same kind of similar Aaron plus Alsa team. And then we are bringing in Niru, just for the reason that Niru is supposed to block the Lilimei if they have Lilimei, so that our Aeron can ultimate and Alsa can ultimate. And then we have Tassi team with the Mauler faction bonus. And then Rainier plus Shakir, so that if the enemy is bringing Tassi, for example, then Shakir can hopefully finish it off. And then we have final Mauler team. Yeah, once again, I'm testing 3 Mauler teams instead of the Celestial Hypogean team, but most likely I would be better off just making the Celestial Hypogean team instead of this one. But the idea is that we teleport the Odie to the enemy backline, and then we also teleport Smokey to the enemy backline so that the Smokey can heal our Odie. And then we have Brian here, so that if the enemy is bringing Lilimei, our Odie can still ultimate because Brian will be get interrupted. And then we are bringing our own Lilimei, so that if the enemy is bringing their own Odie, our Lilimei can hopefully interrupt the Odie. I would maybe think about switching the spells so that I would have like the resonating spell. I would have the resonating spell on here instead, because resonating spell is pretty good with Smokey. And then I would bring in the frontline spell to maybe this one instead, or then maybe use frontline spell on here and then switch the spells around a bit. But yeah, these are the ones that I'm using right now. If I had Tailin, I would probably try something like this. I mean, I do have Tailin, but it's not Supreme Plus Tailin, so I haven't been using it. I would probably try something like this instead of one of these teams. And if I had Lenia, I would probably try something like this instead of the one that I have right now. So I would switch Lenia here and then maybe not use the Rainier in this one, use Rainier on some other team. But yeah. Or this could be Satrana, if you had Satrana instead. But yeah, these are the teams that I'm using right now. Just a couple general notes about attacking. So if I see that the enemy is bringing Tassi is really powerful, and sometimes she can solo the whole team. And she can be extra powerful with like the Mauler tile, for example, because she will do the AoE damage from the Mauler benefit. So here you can see that every 5 seconds they will do damage around them, 200% damage. So she is of course gonna be close to all of the enemies, so she can continue doing the Mauler damage. So if I see her, I usually bring some of these heroes, because Odie can kill her quite quickly. Shakir is usually tanky enough so that if it's just Shakir and Tassi left alone, if everyone else is dead, Shakir can kind of win that duel. Alsa with the Mauler tile, she can kill Tassi quite well if she's like immune to the crowd control effects, and she can keep stunning the Tassi. And then Vala can potentially kill Tassi quite quickly. And then, yeah, if you combine something like Rainier with Shakir, your Shakir will be even more tankier. And if you can target the enemy Tassi with your Rainier, then she won't be as scary. So these are usually the keys for winning against Tassi. So here are some examples of the enemy teams that we've been able to win with Tassis. So this one, like Paragon 4 heroes, Paragon 2 Tassi, we used Lilimei and Vala to win against this team. And here we have Paragon 2 Tassi with like Paragon 2 and Paragon 3 heroes. We used the Alsa team, Celestial Hypogean team with Alsa and Aeron. And here we have, once again, Paragon 2 Tassi with some Paragon 4 heroes. And we used the Alsa team. Alsa was able to win. and Celestial Hypergene team with Tassi. We used once again also team, and here is some Tassi team, and we used the Shakir, Rainier, Odie with just some tanky heroes and some support, and we were able to win. So yeah, you can see that these heroes are usually able to win against Tassis. Then if I see like full Wilder teams, which is quite rare at the top, but I don't know, maybe on some ranks Wilder teams are still a thing. You can just use something like Vala with especially good with Wilder faction bonus. So if you have your Wilder faction bonus leveled up, which gives you like extra projectiles and a lot of attack speed, etc., and crowd control immunity, and then you have even if you want to boost your Vala's damage, you can use something like Valor Shield. So here is an example of winning against like this was some random Paragon 2 Wilder team, so we were able to win with Vala, and this is some Paragon 4 Wilder team, and we were able to win with Vala. So yeah, whenever I see like Vala Wilder team, I usually bring Vala, or if I see team that is not using the Mauler faction bonus or the Celestial Hypergene faction bonus, I quite often bring Vala if we're attacking, because with the Mauler faction bonus, they get the fatal blow protection that will protect them for 5 seconds if they would die. So that's quite bad for Vala. So we usually probably don't want to bring Vala in that situation. I mean, it can still work if you can target someone else, like who is not protected by the Mauler tile. It can still be worth bringing. And then with the Celestial Hypergene, the issue is that the Celestial Hypergene talent is so powerful that Vala doesn't get to do much. So yeah, usually that's when I don't bring her, but yeah, she's still really good, as we can clearly see, like easily winning against like Paragon 4 heroes. So then if I see Odie and Shakir teams, these are a bit tricky and tricky to win, especially Odie and Shakir are really scary. Some things that you can try is that you can bring Lily May, so that especially if they are bringing like only Odie or only Shakir, then Lily May can interrupt the first ultimate that they will do. So if you interrupt the first Odie ultimate, that will slow him down a lot. So it's good to bring Lily May here. Someone like Thoran is generally good against Odie because Odie can't instantly kill him, and it's actually somewhat dangerous for Odie to be next to like teleport Odie next to Thoran and start killing him, because he can potentially kill the Odie. And then Ludovic is just in general like a good healer. If you group up your heroes, and then he can also stun enemies when they like come close to him. If you had Dunlinger, then he can be pretty decent against Odie and Shakir because they rely on their ultimates. So you can delay them using their ultimates. You can also bring your own Odie and Shakir, and then for example, if both teams have Odie, but you also bring in Lily May, then if your Lily May will interrupt the enemy Odie, then your Odie can start killing them faster, and eventually you will win. Or if they have like their own Shakir, and you will bring your Shakir plus you bring Rainier, so that your Shakir will get buff and the enemy Shakir will get debuff, then usually your Shakir will win. And then if the enemy Odie is not protected by the Mauler tile, so they can be targeted by stuff like Vala or Sylvina, then you can quite easily kill them, and then it's not nearly as scary. And also if they're not protected by the Mauler tile, you can try to run like crowd control effects, or your Celestial Hypergene. If you have a Celestial Hypergene team and they're not protected by the Muller tile, then the Celestial Hypergene effect can potentially kill the Odie, even if you are not like targeting Odie. So yeah, there are some ways of dealing with them, but this is definitely a scary combo. Here are some examples of winning teams. Yeah, we used like our own Odie and Shakir and Rainier. And here we used Dunlinger so that the enemy Odie was not able to ultimate, but our Odie was able to ultimate, and you can see what happens when your Odie gets rolling. I have a clip of this one, so I can show this was my defense team. And here the enemy Odie was not protected by like Muller tile, because the enemy is running Wilder tile, so we brought in Vala, and Vala was easily able to kill them. So if you want to use Odie on your defense team, I definitely recommend that you use the Muller tile, Muller faction, and you place your Odie on the Muller faction teleport as a prime carrier. And then probably you also want to have someone like Lily May in that team, so that, and you want to have someone who can block the enemy Lily May's ultimate. That's why most of my teams have someone like, they have Aaron or Brian or Niru, so that if the enemy is bringing Lily May, they can't like interrupt the important heroes at the start. So then if I see that the enemy team is not running Odie and Shakir on one of their teams, then I can bring my own Tassi. That's usually, I usually have one team with Tassi, and then this is the thing that I check. No Odie, no Shakir, okay, we bring in Tassi. And then you can pretty much bring against any team your Celestial Hypergene team. Now, it doesn't matter which Celestial Hypergenes you use. You can use whatever, but of course there are not that many, so most likely it's gonna be something like Rainy Pesto with Scarletta, and then if you have Tailin, I would say you use Tailin, but since I don't have her, I use Burial. And then Rainier you could use here as well, it's good hero, but then you probably want to use Rainier on some other team, so that's why I normally use Celestial Hypergene team without Rainier. So the other heroes that you use with these ones, so since I don't have Tailin, I use this one. The other team could be something like also Aaron. This is like quite offensive team. Or you could have, like, if you don't have Aaron or you want to use him on some other team, you could have Niru and Alsa. Or then I've been doing something like Tassi combined with Ludovic. or, you know, quite often people are running Lily main here combined with some healer like Ludovic, or they have Haven as a healer. So yeah, there are a lot of different things that you can do with this one. I don't think there is like one specific team that is the best one. You can just try out other stuff. And yeah, like I said, you can use this team against like pretty much anything. The only thing is, of course, that you have to have like at least 3 somewhat usable Celestial Hybrids. I mean, I guess if you only have like, let's say you have Presto and you have Tailin at Supreme Plus, and then you have like Scarletta at like, I don't know, Legendary Plus, you could probably still use it because it's not as important. Your Scarletta is not like as important part of the team. It's just to enable the Celestial Hybrid faction bonus, but then of course you have to invest your faction talent points towards this one. So yeah, I think it's worth testing out if you have like 2 heroes that you use, and then the third one doesn't have to be that good. So you can maybe test it out if it's working for you, because this team, like the faction talent bonus is so powerful. But yeah, that's about it. I'm just gonna show a couple clips from the battles with these teams. This is from last week's setup. Here I'm using the Celestial Hybrid team against like Paragon 3 Wilder team or whatever. We don't know what the last one is. This could be like I said, this could be something else. This could be like Alsa or whatever. But then I'm using like the Alsa team, Alsa Aeron team against this one. You could easily use Vala to win against this team as well, but I don't know why I use this Alsa team, but whatever. And then because the enemy is has Tassi here, like Paragon 3 Tassi, I chose to use the Shakir combo. So Shakir with Rainier and then Odie. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, so then here we have enemy Celestial Hybrid team, and I tried to use my own, but yeah, this one I lost, the first one, because you can see the power of like this Celestial Hybrid team, and of course they have like Paragon 2 Presto and Paragon 2 Tailin, Paragon 2 Scarletta, so they have a lot higher Ascension team, and they have some resonance level on us, so it was maybe not very likely that we were gonna win, but I tried anyway. But then against the like Wilder team, once again we are bringing in this Alsa Aeron team, then against their Shakir team, and I'm expecting that there is something like Odie here or Mikola or whatever. I'm bringing in my Rainier plus Shakir plus Odie team. Now here, it's potential that we only won because the enemy has misplaced their Rainier, but whatever, we take the win. Like, they have Paragon 4, Shakir and whatnot, so I was happy to win against this one, but if we're being honest, it's probably because they misplaced their Rainier. Okay, so then here are 2 examples from my free-to-play account. The enemy has like Celestial Hypergene team, so I'm bringing the Alsa Aeron team once again. I think this Alsa Aeron team can work pretty well against these types of Celestial Hypergene teams because they are like really grouped up and they don't usually necessarily have that much healing. I mean, this one has Ludovic, but if the power level is somewhat like similar, like here we can see that, yeah, they have couple levels on the resonance level, but they don't have like a lot of like Paragon heroes, so we are able to burst down the enemy potentially here. And then they have their Shakir Odie team, so we bringing once again Rainier to buff our own Shakir, and then because we know that they have Odie here, we're just placing Toran here. Actually, this image is wrong. I think I ended up using Smokey here instead of Mikola, but anyway, the idea is still the same. And then because we see that they're running some kind of Wilder team, then we bring our Vala with the Wilder faction bonus, and then with the Valor Shield buff. And once again, we are trying against their like Celestial Hypergene team. We're trying to bring in this burst team, but the power difference is just a bit much, so we can't win with this team. Yeah, these teams are a bit weird. I don't know what I was trying to do here. But I mean, of course, we ended up winning the next 2 fights, but I don't know if this is something that you should really take notes from. But yeah, I guess we're bringing in Vala to potentially kill like all of these squishy heroes, and then we have Lily May to block like their Alsa from casting ultimates, and then we have some support from these 2 heroes, and we have the Mauler faction. Now you might think that our Coco will die instantly because the enemy has like Paragon to Vala targeting Coco, but yeah, because we have the Mauler faction bonus, they can't kill Coco instantly. And then against like a wilder team, even though they have Paragon 3 heroes and whatnot, we are bringing in Odie with the Rainier buff and hoping that we teleport Odie to the enemy backline and he is able to kill all of the important heroes like Haven and Lily May, and then we can just finish off the team. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!